Hey guys, welcome to the... Jesus, are you kidding me? Hey guys, welcome to the Meet Cute, where we talk all things romantic comedy, but mostly the bad ones. But wait, this month we're the Meet Spook, where we discuss the romance in horror films.
This week we have a movie that can maybe be considered a horror film, could maybe be considered a box office and critical horror, if you will.
Nice.
Thank you very much. We are in the thick of the Meet Spook, so we're bringing you, of course, 2017's very controversial Mother, lowercase m, exclamation point at the end.
Ooh, I don't have any facts about it up because we're doing a special episode today. We are doing our first ever hot take episode where we're going to...
Hot take!
Oh my God.
Ooh, yeah, can we make a sound effect?
That was a soundbite. That wasn't us doing it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here, I can prove it. I'll just play it again. Here we go.
Ooh, hot take!
It's hot!
Hey, can we do a sound effect?
Yeah.
Sick.
So that's our sound bite.
I will freestyle some facts about it, though. 2017, Darren Aronofsky directed it. He might have written it. I think he wrote it. I think it was kind of his his project. You know him from critically acclaimed films like The Wrestler and Black Swan and Requiem for a Dream. Pretty successful guy. And this film was much maligned by critics and praised by others. It was even more divisive between audiences. Edward and I have both seen it and both have a lot of thoughts about it.
A lot of thoughts.
Haley has not seen it, so
I have not
we're doing
seen
a hot takes episode. The way this is going to work is we're going to watch 30 minutes at a time, and then we're going to record our sort of recap and thoughts on those 30-minute sections for 8 minutes at a time. So it's going to be like 4 sections, and then we'll come at the end and give you our ratings and scores for the entire film.
Yeah, so I'm excited. So every time I'm checking in, it's going to be me and my immediate reactions.
And every time Edward and I check in, it'll be sort of a little bit more reflective, but also sort of looking at it now through a romantic lens for the podcast.
Right.
Okay, we have Chinese food. We're going to watch this movie now.
We'll see you in...
Let you know how it is.
See you
Bye.
in 30 minutes.
Hot take. I need to hear that sound bite, guys.
It's
Ooh,
hot.
It's
take.
so hot. Oh, can we make a sound effect?
So, I can't talk. Someone else talk.
Edward.
All right. So, Mother. It begins, like all films begin, with a woman on fire and a house burning down, and then the house rebuilds itself, and then Jennifer Lawrence forms in a bed, and then she wakes up.
I'm so unimpressed with this movie in the first half hour. Everything's boring. Jennifer Lawrence has the worst long wig I've ever seen. Javier Bardem is like gross.
Attractive.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, he came on screen and Haley was like, gross. Edward and I were like, no, he's a handsome man. What are you talking
He's
about?
so gross, like in the context of this movie.
He hasn't even done anything
He's
in
done
the context
nothing.
of this
It's icky.
movie.
He's like all with Jennifer Lawrence, who looks like a tiny baby.
Well, we're half an hour in. Haley is not enjoying this. She's making it very clear while we're watching it and now. She's not here for this movie. And if anyone has seen the film, you know that that's only going to get worse.
Oh, good.
Okay, so she's not on fire. There's a fire.
Sure,
Then
yeah,
there's
yeah.
not. Then she forms, and she's got the world's longest braid, and she's wearing a white nightgown, and we see her nipples. And what happens next?
So she's greeted by her husband, Javier Bardem.
Gross.
They kiss, and they soon make it clear that Jennifer Lawrence is renovating the house. So they're kind of enjoying their day together. He's a writer. She kind of just hangs around the house. It's clear that he doesn't think that she really like loves his writing and doesn't think that he can communicate his stress about his new book to her. And then there's a knock at the door later that evening.
And who's there but America's favorite sweetheart, Edward Harris. I don't know if that's his name or if it's Edmund or Edgar. But
Edward.
Edward Harris.
No, wait, I'm making that up. It's Ed Harris.
It's Ed,
I don't know.
it's Ed Harris.
I was like, shit, you're Edward.
What's Ed Harris from?
Westworld.
Westworld.
A lot of other things.
And
but
also The Truman Show.
Westworld.
And also, come on out, Ed. We got a special guest. Like, oh, hey, everyone. It's hot.
And Ed Harris just shows up at the door, and he's like, I'm here now. And everyone's just like, okay.
No, Javier Bardem is, whose name I think is the poet in this. Nobody has a name.
No one gets, they don't get named.
She's mother. He's, I think, the poet. And this
Mama
is man or something. Anyway, Javier Bardem is like, oh, cool. And
a friend.
Neat. Jennifer Lawrence is like, what?
A stranger.
A stranger.
Why is this man in our house?
I volunteer. That's from one of her original films. Anyway,
Winter's
Bone. Yeah, and so Javier Bardem is like, oh, you should totally spend the night, Ed Harris.
And he's like...
That's a pretty good impression.
Okay, so when Ed Harris came on screen, I fully thought he was going to be Scottish every time he was on screen.
Is it because he wore a flat cap?
Yes. Wait, nothing in this movie makes sense. Why is this house like from the 1400s? It looks like the Salem witch trials in this
because
house.
Ed Harris and Javier Bardem get to talking about Jennifer Lawrence, and Javier Bardem said he has this like this crystal, and he said it's very delicate to him because when he was a kid, he lost everything in a fire, and the one thing he found was the crystal, and now Jennifer Lawrence is restoring his childhood home. And renovating it so they can live there again. She's rebuilding it. It's a really big task.
I missed that part.
Yeah.
I thought she was just passionate about. I thought she was just passionate about interior design.
Well, she is. I mean, it's kind of like her big project.
Right. She wants to make it paradise, quote unquote.
Yeah, she
biblical reference.
Blah, blah, blah.
But okay. But why is she using like old-timey tools? Like, she has modern-day technology. I saw a phone in this first half hour.
Well, they don't have a Target nearby.
Plus, she's not using like electric drills, but I wouldn't say they're old-timey. It's not a
Her fridge doesn't have an ice maker. It was a bowl of ice.
That's fair.
It's an old house. I don't know. Anyway,
No.
There's some interesting things that happen in terms of time in this film.
Oh, it's so stupid.
But speaking of time, we do have to keep this recap going because, like we said, we're restricting. So Jennifer Lawrence wakes up in the middle of the night, and she goes downstairs after noticing that Javier Bardem is not in bed with her, and she sees Ed Harris throwing up in the toilet. And Javier Bardem is saying, I'm taking care of him. You just go back to bed. And Jennifer Lawrence is like, what's going on here?
And she sees like, is it a lesion or does he have a scar in his
It's
side?
like a big red, like...
It looks like a scrape. It
like
just looks
like
a big old scrape under his
maybe biblical
right arm.
Yeah, near his rib, if you will.
Stabbed in the rib.
Get my McRib. So... They wake up the next morning, she's making breakfast, and they act like nothing's happened. They're like, this is fine.
Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, we were entertaining each other all night. We just go. It was so fun.
And while they're making breakfast, there's another knock at the door. And who is it?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer, that white groove.
Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold, right?
Maybe. I don't know. We could be putting the word white in there.
Bruno, what is it?
No, I'm still Ed Harris. But it is... So she's there, and she is Ed Harris's wife. And she's like immediately like gives Jennifer Lawrence kind of a sassy like up and down look, like this broad.
Mm-hmm. She's like, you with your cheap shake and go wig.
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
Pretty much. So, Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer share some, like, open-mouth, intimate kisses.
PDA.
And Javier Bardem is, like, staring at him like, oh, I like that.
Oh, boy, oh, yeah.
Oh, me likey.
No, it's not so good when you do it.
I just wanted to communicate how gross he is.
So they all have a conversation, and it's going pretty well. And then Javier Bardem says, I better go back to writing. He goes upstairs. And Jennifer Lawrence goes, I better go back to mixing pastes in my golden bowls and scraping them on the wall.
Why is she not painting? Why is she putting she's like, slopping yellow
scraping,
goo on the wall with like a scraper, and she's like, looks perfect.
She's doing her thing.
Look, man.
Wait, but also the stuff she was using to paint the walls, the yellow stuff that she was like mixing in her goo to paint the walls, wasn't that the same yellow stuff she put in her painkiller?
She gets panicky at one point, and she takes this yellow powder, puts it in a cup of water, and drinks from it and calms down. So it's to say that's some sort of like anti-anxiety or sort of elixir for her. So Michelle Pfeiffer brings her an alcoholic beverage and starts saying condescending stuff about her having kids and being like, you gotta have kids, and just being kind of not a cool person. Ed Harris and Javier Bardem say, we're going on a hike. Michelle Pfeiffer says, we have laundry to do. You'll show me where it is.
Like women.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going downstairs to do laundry. Ed Harris and Javier Bardem are out at a hike, and that's where we are so far in the film. Real quick, give us some hot takes. What are we thinking romance-wise?
This sucks. Their age, I know the point is they're supposed to have a big age difference, but it's weird. I hate it. I know it's supposed to be like a biblical something or other. I know, but I hate it. She looks like a little snow patch, and he looks like an old fart.
That Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer, though, they are making out like crazy.
They're bad people, but they're in love.
They're
chemistry. Disgusting, too.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get back into it. We will see you in a half an hour, meaning like 2 seconds your time.
Your time.
And we're back with our hot take.
Hot take.
Oh, it's so hot. Oh, it's hot.
Can we do a sound effect?
Oh my God, that's such a good sound bite, guys.
Can we just hear it one more time?
Yeah, let me just press the button.
Yeah, tell us when you're pressing it. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. It's hot.
Can we get a sound effect?
Yeah, I love that sound effect. I just want to play it once more because it sounds really good, sped up, like
I bet.
So let me just put that on.
All right. Oh, it's hot.
So it's hot. It's hot. Can we get a sound effect?
Wow, it sounds even better fast. You know how good it would sound like slow? It would sound really good like if we did it half the speed. I'm going to play that real fast.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, it's hot.
A hot take.
It's hot. It's hot.
Can we get a sound effect?
Wow. Technology in this studio is just amazing. This movie sucks, but...
All right.
Anyway, so Ed Harris and Javier Bardem get back from their hike. It didn't go well. And Michelle Pfeiffer is very drunk on her lemonade. And the two, who are, I believe, Adam and Eve, go up to Javier Bardem's office, and they break his fancy fire diamond thing.
Oh, my fire diamond!
Is what he says. Yeah, that's the line.
Michelle Pfeiffer in this is just a fucking bitch. She's the worst. She's like a whining baby who's just like, I like sex all the time.
Yeah, but she's like the only one having fun. If you can have fun in a movie like this.
In Mother.
Yeah.
I hear actually they're doing a Universal like attraction, like Mother the Ride, and it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer's like, I want to break all the shit in your house. I want to touch it all. And Jennifer Lawrence is like, no, don't. And she's like, but I'm gonna, and I'm going to make it sexy.
When it comes to like the crystal, it's like, you're adults. You don't have to touch things
that
someone doesn't want you to touch.
And then you can't be like mad when somebody says, hey, how dare you do that?
And when they're like, you should leave our house, she's like, oh, we said we're sorry. I'm like, no, you knew that was important to him.
Also, they break the fire diamond. Oh, no, my fire diamond.
Fire diamond.
And then they just start doing it.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence goes to like confront them again, and they're having sex. And it's like, come on.
And she's got like fucking thigh highs, and she's like, ooh, my sexy garter.
So then, who shows up at the door but one of their sons?
Ooh, boy.
And he comes in, he's like, where's my mom? And Jennifer Lawrence is like, get out of my house.
And then Donald Gleason runs in, the second son, and he's like, where's my dad? And Jennifer Lawrence is like, what?
She's like, who are any of you? Why are you doing this in my home?
Which is actually an appropriate reaction.
Yeah, I would do that. Domhnall Gleeson's like, you wrote me out of the will? Because Ed Harris is sick and dying. And they get into a whole big fight, and Ed Harris is like, you don't understand. If you need money, I'll give it to you. And Dom Hawson's like, I don't want your chump change. Gets into a fight with the brother, hits the brother over the head with like a, I
think a doorknob?
Like a thick something, yeah.
Like a thick daddy.
Yeah.
A thick daddy.
I believe the dialogue was, come here, brother, I'm going to hit you with this thick daddy and then daddy piece of material, brother.
And then way in the background, oh, my fire diamond.
Dude, you kind of hit it with my fire diamond, which is also thick because it's broke. Kills the brother with the thick daddy material.
Yeah.
Cain and Abel, it's the Bible.
Okay, so let's take a pause because I'm hot. It's a hot take and I'm feeling hot. And Zach's all worried about his timer.
It's so hot.
Fine. We're going to get off track here.
Can we make a sound effect?
Oh, such good technology.
You have a
in this
thing that
studio.
turns into Spanish, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness, I do have the translate button here in the the Meet Cute Studios. I'll hit that.
Fuego! Un sound effect, por favor.
Oh, I have one in French also.
Sure, yeah.
There you go.
Threshold!
Give me a sound effect.
That was Greek English.
Anyway, wait, so let's talk for a second because I know going into this movie that it's all supposed to be Bible. So, but like it's like just a fucking he was like, "Ooh, I know Bible characters. Let me make people of them and then make them all come together nonsensically."
So you watched Darren Aronofsky's roundtable discussion and you got a pretty good impression of
It
him.
was him and three mirrors that he was talking to.
Okay, so the fire diamond, which that's definitely not what it. Oh, fire diamond, yeah, because it was born in the fire.
Sure,
Right.
why
The
not?
fire diamond
no
is
name.
like the apple, like the forbidden fruit. Yes.
Kind
Yes.
of.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because they're Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Yes, because I
That's fair.
guess
Actually,
I
that's a
guess
good
the
point,
guy
yeah.
with the Scottish hat and Michelle Pfeiffer are
Yeah,
Adam and Eve,
yeah.
and they make it real obvious when they like open the door at one point. She's wearing a green bra.
Right, yeah.
Also, his little rash thing could be like Adam's rib.
Oh, right. So they're Adam and Eve, cool. And then their sons are Cain and Abel.
Right,
Duh.
right.
But is Jennifer Lawrence Mary? Is she the Virgin Mary?
So Javier Bardem, if I'm remembering the interview correctly, because Darren Aronofsky was like, "I'm the only one with the answer book."
Just how you want a movie to be.
Right. Javier Bardem is God, and I won't spoil what the mother is because it's kind of what the ending is about.
You'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they get into a fight, kills him. They run to the hospital. They leave Jennifer Lawrence alone. She's very upset. She takes more of her yellow calm liquid.
Yep.
She notices there's like a weird, like bloody part of the floor that looks like a woman's privates.
A vagina.
A butthole. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, the other one.
Yeah. Oh, private too. And eventually, Domhnall Gleeson comes back and is like, "They left you alone, so you do understand," meaning like what it's like to be left out of things. He was left out of the will. He leaves. Family comes back. They're devastated, and Javier Bardem says they wanted to just have some family and friends here. So there's a bunch of people in like funeral attire all get there. They're having drinks. Everyone's making toasts. More and more people are showing up. Jennifer Lawrence is bewildered. She's got...
Everyone's
I mean,
being
really.
so rude. They're just like, "We're gonna fuck in your bed, and we're gonna sit on your counter, and
point.
we're
It's
gonna
like-
paint your house."
It's supposed to be incredibly frustrating, and I think it achieves that, which is one thing I like about it, where it's like all these little things add up to like the way people are treating her, where you're like, holy fuck, like this is a nightmare for her. Like,
Yeah.
She's
can't
just
win.
a little virginal girl trying to make her house look pretty and wear cream all the time.
Yeah, and all these people want to do is anything else.
The whole thing does feel very dreamlike in a sense, because you're like, God, these people will not do anything she asks.
And it's
There's-
all following her, right? Like literally the camera is always on her.
Yeah, they never like breaks. Like she's in, I think, every scene of this movie.
Yeah.
And you know, people are sitting on a sink, which is a big part of it that's not braced yet. She's constantly reminding them that the sink's not braced. And eventually they're like, "Look, it's fine." They're bouncing up and down on it, and the pipe bursts, and there's water going everywhere. And Jennifer Lawrence is like, "Get out of my house!"
Yeah.
And they do.
Understandable.
They listen. They do. They get out.
Okay, and the house is supposed to be the Garden of Eden,
Yeah, paradise essentially.
right?
Yeah.
But the house looks like shit, garbage. I wouldn't want to spend any time there. But then they pan to outside at one point in the movie, and I'm like, "Ooh, outside looks nice and colorful, and inside your house looks like cream and gray garbage."
She's working on it.
it's a work in progress,
Yeah.
which is a metaphor.
So,
You're screaming.
all right. Well, I'm usually not loud enough. Everyone left, and they get into a huge fight. And Javier Bardem says, like, "Well, you know what? Life doesn't always turn out the way you want it to." And Jennifer Lawrence says, "Mine certainly didn't," which is a fucking harsh line. And then she says something to the effect of,
well, what was she expecting? She married the oldest man in the world.
That's true. He is the record holder.
Right.
So, earlier they're talking about having kids and whatnot. Michelle Pfeiffer's like, you got to have kids. And Javier Bardem says, yeah, I want kids.
Yeah, I totally want kids. Who says I don't?
Was it you, Ed Harris? Harris is like, no, I don't. What? Our impressions are spot on. Your Javier is actually super good.
Yeah, it is.
So then Jennifer Lawrence is like, you say you want kids, but you can't even fuck me.
Yeah.
And Javier Bardem's like, I'll show you.
I'll show you. I'll do it right now.
And they do.
Yeah, they do.
And we fade to white, unexpected. Ooh. And that's where we've left off. So real quick, what are we feeling romance-wise, guys?
Nothing. This is awful. I hate this movie. I hate that it's just like, look at all the Bible knowledge I have. And he pushes up his glasses because he's a fucking nerd. That's Darren Aronofsky. What's his name?
Darren Aronofsky.
No. Don't tell her his name. What do you think his name is, Haley? One more time. Say it clearly into the mic.
Darren Aronofsky.
Aronofsky? That's so hard to say.
Oh, hold on, I'm going to say it again. Give me a sec. Okay, Darren Aronofsky.
Nope.
Spell that. Yeah, how do you think that's spelled?
3 F's.
So many consonants. Aronofsky.
That sounds right.
Anyway, we're going to get back into it. We'll see you in a half an hour, meaning like a second, your time.
You.
We're watching Mother.
Wait, what's his name?
Darren Aronofsky.
We're not telling you.
We're watching Mother. It's the Meet Cute. It's the Meet Spook. It's a hot take. Oh, it's a hot take.
It's so hot. Oh, burning. Can we get a sound effect?
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Meet Cute, the Meet Spook. We're doing a hot take. Oh, it's a hot take.
Oh, it's hot.
Oh, it's hot.
Whoa. Can we get a sound effect?
Another 30 minutes down.
Another 30 minutes to go.
How we feeling?
Oh, terrible.
Actually, not much happened in this 30 minutes, though.
It's a slow stretch.
Yeah.
She got fucked. She was like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, how the fuck do you know? And she's like, I know. And he like accepts that as science. So she's pregnant. And
cut 2, I guess.
Yeah, super cut 2. She's super pregnant.
Eggs on our face. She knew.
Look, man. Oof.
So she's very, very pregnant. We can assume many months later, toward the very tail end of her pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets up one morning and he's standing in the doorway and he's holding in his hand a stack of papers and it's the manuscript for his new book. And she says, is that it? And he's like, I finished.
She's like, can I read it, Papa?
Thick Daddy Monument thing? I don't know.
Thick Daddy Monument?
I meant material is what I meant to say.
Nah.
And so she reads the whole thing, and she sheds one single tear and says, it's beautiful.
And then immediately he gets a phone call, and he's like, oh, my publicist, she loves it, and it's already sold out every copy. Which is what happens. And she's like, oh, okay,
I thought
weird.
I was the first one to read it.
Yeah, she's a little bit bummed because she's been feeling clearly like very connected to him the last... Haley,
We're
you're
having
blowing
a
your nose
conversation.
into the microphone. You
I
sociopath.
think you brought your mic closer to do that.
You went, everyone's got to hear this. Oh, my God. What's the director's name?
Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh, wait, but you told me it's actually Darren Aronofsky.
No, we didn't say that.
We didn't lie to you like that.
We corrected you. We just didn't say that.
Okay, hold on. I got it.
We're also not trying to be like dumb little like film boys and be like, excuse me, Darren, because like I'm not a fanboy.
His name is Darren
Aronofsky.
Darren Aronofsky?
Yeah.
So it's Darren and then immediately followed by Aaron?
Yeah, poor choice.
Like he has a stutter.
That's so stupid. It sounds like someone's like, Darren Aronofsky.
It'd be really funny if there was 2 kids named Darren and Aaron and they were being taught how to ski by like a Russian woman. So she went, Darren, Aaron, off ski.
And his parents were like skiing by, and they're like, "Oh, that's what we'll call them.
This'll do." Our last name's not even Aronofsky.
It's Smith, but this'll work out.
Sounds nice. So where do we leave off?
Oh gosh,
everyone loves the book.
So everyone loves the book. Jennifer Lawrence is making a beautiful dinner for the two of them to share, and as she is, she looks outside, and there's a bunch of people like asking him questions on the front porch, and she's like, "Who are they?" And he's like, "They came to see me," which I remember from the trailer, and I was like, "That's ominous. What's she referring to?" I want to see that, and I did.
And you regretted it.
And she's all like not liking this because she's like, I just want to live in my little Civil War era house with you alone and just stare at each other.
She's a little much. They don't even have a TV, I don't think.
Yeah, I know. They have one.
She's like, I just want to be alone with you. Is literally a line. I don't know. And then more and more people come, and then there's like, the poet says we can come in.
Yeah, and people start stealing stuff, being like, I have to own something of his. He's like rubbing clay on people's faces. People are honestly worshiping him, which is the point.
The point. He's like giving them like, it looks like Ash Wednesday shit's going on. To which again, he's supposed to be God?
Yes.
God doesn't bless you. He's an ominous figure. He's a
God
omniscient
figure.
Being.
And Kristen Wiig shows up as the publisher, and she's her spunky Kristen Wiig self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's like, is this the woman who made him right?
She's so excited to meet J-Law. Wouldn't we all be? And Jennifer Lawrence goes upstairs to sort of collect herself for a moment. She looks at the window and sees like hordes of people walking through the field back to her house. And she closes her eyes, collects herself, opens them up, and that's where we've left off.
And also the Florgina is back.
And people are taking pictures with it.
Yeah, they're like, it's cool, it's hot.
What biblical metaphor is that?
No, it's there's a whole book dedicated to it's the book of Florgina.
The book of Genesis, the book of Florgina. What's the other books?
All of the rest.
The book of the yellow mixture she drinks.
The book of the thick daddy, and that's just the whole thing.
That's the Bible.
2 pages.
Romance-wise, because like we said, during the Meet Spook, we're talking horror films. First of all, horror film, different type of horror.
Different kind of horror. Yeah. Romance.
How we feeling romance-wise?
Well,
terrible.
They had a baby.
There's a moment where they're like, they're connecting, like all this sort of turmoil is bringing them closer together as a couple, and they have this night of passion. It's igniting 9 months of bliss, and now it's suddenly going horribly wrong again.
Yeah, because he sucks and she sucks. They suck together.
Yeah, I mean, for trying to institute like, this is a couple going through issues, the movie's not making it very like, I don't know, not adaptable, but I guess believable is the simple way to put it.
It helps that they don't have names and personalities.
I think it doesn't.
No, I was being facetious.
I thought so. I was like, even if they had names, that would make a difference. They'd call each other like
Mark.
Because her whole personality is just like, I just want you to love me and sit in the Civil War era home and just stare at each other. And his whole personality is like, nothing you do is ever good enough for me.
So that's where we are. We're not loving it. We're getting to some things that I personally thought were well done. And we got 30 more minutes left, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the last 30.
Can I make a quick guess as to who Jennifer Lawrence is supposed to be?
Sure.
Yes, of course.
Satan.
Wrong. Not to spoil it, but super wrong.
Well, I thought she was Mary at first, but then I was like, why would she be like talking to Adam and Eve? That's like,
I'll give you a hint.
Well before her.
The title of the movie is half of her name. And we'll be right back.
Mother Teresa?
We'll be right back.
Mother
Haley, real quick before we go into the rest of the film, what's the director's name?
Darren Aronofsky.
Oh my God! We will be right back with the Meet Cute.
It's bad. That was the worst thing I ever had to watch.
All right. So we just finished Mother.
Fuck. Worst thing I've ever had. The worst art I've ever had to watch. That was
But at least it's art.
No, art is bad. Art is terrible. I hate art. Art is nothing.
What?
Art.
So everyone's showing up at the fucking house. And Jennifer Lawrence is upset. She goes downstairs. It's getting even crazier. They're doing a weird choreographed dance, which I liked.
Oh, yeah.
Javier Bardem's like, these people love me. I'm doing a signing. It's amazing. And the things get wilder and wilder. The police get there, and then like the National Guard, and then like the alternative police.
There's a rave. Yeah, there's like the military, and then the riot cops.
Yeah, like riot
police. Then Kristen Wiig starts shooting people.
There's like an Eastern European gang who are like locking people in cages, and they like touch Jennifer Lawrence's teeth, and she's running all around, super pregnant, like what is happening?
Understandably, by the way.
Get off the sink! It's not breathing. And she's losing her mind, and escalates and escalates.
All the while, she is giving birth, like she's getting contractions, and she's like, "I'm gonna give this baby up any day now."
Javier and Jennifer Lawrence escape to like a room upstairs. They shut the door. She gives birth to the baby, rather.
She gives the baby. That's what I said. I'm ready to give this baby.
I'm giving babies. She gives birth to the baby, and it's all quiet. And she's like, "Please make them leave." And Javier Bardem says, "No, I want them to see the baby."
And she's like, literally, why? They just destroyed this house. They ripped everything down. There's literal death happening in the next room. Why do you care so much?
So she's sitting there. She's like breastfeeding the baby and sitting with him. And Javier Bardem like is just staring at her. And at this point is when he becomes like truly evil. You can feel like he's staring at her, waiting for her to nod off for a second. He could steal the baby. And at least me personally, I was like, yo, this feels dirty. It was fucked up. Like the look on his face, you're like, oh, this is not a person anymore.
Yeah. And then she falls asleep, and
just for a second,
what do you know? She wakes up, no baby in her hands.
He has the baby.
He's got the baby.
Brings it outside to the crowd of worshipers.
She rushes to him, turns him around. He does not have the baby anymore. That crowd does.
It's crowd surfing.
That baby is like, yes, yes, yes.
Then comes the worst sound in cinema history, when the baby's neck snaps and it dies. I swear, in the movie theater, I did not like that. Just watching it, I did not like that.
Yeah,
and I'll think about it for the rest of my life.
It was pretty grisly.
It's pretty terrible.
Disturbing, yeah.
Pretty gross.
Shock moment.
Yeah.
And the baby's dead. She runs through, and Jennifer Lawrence is very upset. And there's like this priest guy who's like, "Oh, the voice still carries," and all the people are eating the baby.
Worse.
They're literally like,
good baby,
delicious baby.
And Jennifer Lawrence is like, "Murderers! You murderers! Get out of my house!" And they're like, "No, we're not gonna."
They're like, "You're crazy. We're just trying to have a good time."
Here, come on, have some of your child.
They're seriously like, lighten up, woman.
What if there was one guy in the crowd who didn't quite know what was going on? He's like, "Oh, what is this, salmon?"
Or he's like, "Yo, I just tagged along because I heard this was like a fun thing. I'm not here for the baby eating."
Dave, what is this?
No, you gotta do it. No, this is your third strike,
it's
Dave.
Part of your hazing for Alpha Kappa Beta.
I don't want to be in this fraternity. You take me to the weirdest stuff, and we never go back to J-Law's character. It's just about like Evan.
It's just like a college dark comedy for the rest of the
on for another 40 minutes.
He gets in though, so good for him.
It's just a comedy that exposes like the terrors of the fraternity world.
So Jennifer Lawrence is like, "I'm done." She runs downstairs, pokes a hole in like a gas thing, and is about to light it. And Javier Bardem is like, "I love you," and she says, "You don't love me. You never loved me. You just love how much I loved you." Which
is just translation. You don't love me. You love the idea of me.
I think it's a little bit. It is kind of that, but I think it's a decent line. And she blows up the house, and they get consumed by the fire. And once that scene dies down, we see him totally unscathed, carrying like a ashy, weak Jennifer Lawrence.
Disgusting Jennifer Lawrence.
Just a crisp of a person.
A well done Jennifer Lawrence.
Ooh,
and she asks, "What are you?" And he's like, "I am I." And then he says some other stuff I didn't quite catch.
I don't know, yeah.
And then she was like, "I got nothing else to give you." And he's like, "It's still here, isn't it?" And he rips open her chest, takes out her heart, digs. And
which is, he says, like, "I need you to give me one more thing."
Yeah.
And she's like,
"I have nothing left to give."
And he's like, "Do you still have your love?"
Your love.
And she's like, hell yeah, I'm still super into you, even though you're literally the worst person. Let's get it on. Yes. Anyway, she's like, yes. And he reaches into her chest and rips out her heart, and then her body perishes into decay.
She turns like instant dust, like the older mother in that episode of SpongeBob.
Yes.
Chocolate, I remember chocolate.
Yeah. All right, I get it.
Well,
now.
Eddie forgot. Eddie Knuckles
No, I
forgot.
thought you were talking about SpongeBob's mom, and I was like, when did she disintegrate? What a dark episode.
Kill me. Kill me, Robert.
Sponge Robert.
Oh, that just occurred to me. Oh, his full name's Robert.
Sponge Robert. Anyway.
I don't know what his confirmation name is. Because you know he's Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
That is a wheezy cough you got there.
I think we're all a little sick. In the head, am I right?
Anyway, this is the point where I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. He's going to reach into her chest. And then
No. You did not think
Yes,
to yourself.
I did.
But when he asked you if anything left to give, you went, he's going to reach into her chest.
Yes, I did.
What?
You didn't call this out.
Yeah.
Well, I knew the fucking
should've claimed it.
Hold on. I knew the fire diamond was going to come back.
You know, it was weird. When the opening title came out at the beginning and said mother, you went, psh, he's going to reach into her chest at the end and pull out a diamond.
Well, that's what he does.
It was weird when he said that.
Weird.
Stop.
But it worked.
No. He reaches into her chest. And, okay, I didn't know. I said, as
Or
soon
like-
as he did that,
Or
I
like
was
at the
like,
beginning
oh,
when
it's
it
going to
says
be the
Jennifer
diamond.
Lawrence, you're like, she's going to get upset about an unbraced sink. I feel it.
Stop screaming. Oh, my God. Anyway, as he was reaching into her chest and I was going, gross, I hate this. I was like, oh, God damn it. The fire diamond's going to be in there. And it was. He takes her heart and he squishes it. And it's like, oh, my fire diamond. I'm happy again.
I found it.
The voice,
That's where it was hiding.
I don't do a good voice. Edward does a perfect voice. The voice Haley did was the Count from Sesame Street.
One fire diamond.
It's good fun.
Two fire diamonds.
Sesame Street, if you're out there, we are looking for advertisers. So if you want us to, you're on HBO now.
Really works.
But actually, he is like collecting up his fucking fire diamonds because he puts it on the mantle, and then everything starts growing back.
Healing.
The burned house is getting fixed. Everything's coming back to life, looking like a disgusting Civil War ever home. And then it's like
someone
ooh.
who is not, but looks very much like Alicia Vikander wakes up in bed and is
Yes.
like,
Baby. And then we cut to black.
quick cut to black.
It's a
Way too quick.
new wife.
What I want, you got to. That's so weird. That was the credits.
Handle.
It was very
Like the
loud,
flame
like
of
louder than the rest of the
Yeah,
candle.
like mixed poorly.
So that was terrible.
That's Mother, Darren Aronofsky, 2017. It's a hot. This is the most recent.
Did
film
anyone
we've
like
done.
it?
It was very mixed. My coworker, cough. She saw it before me, and she said that it was going to win every Oscar.
Wow.
Ew.
And I saw it and said, "No, it's not." And my boss saw it and said, "No, it's not."
That was bad.
And
It was
those
a
were-
bad
so-
movie. It was bad, and you're weird now.
And Edward saw it and said, we talked about it, and he said, "No, it's not."
No, it's not.
So 3 out of 4
But
people.
I did say that you had to see it. And,
Yeah, because Edward saw it before me too.
Oh, yeah. It was,
So 3 out of 4 reviews at the time were,
I would have been a better person if I hadn't seen this movie.
What are you gonna do now?
I don't
Bad
know.
stuff?
Now I'm a bad person. Okay, now let's talk. Okay, what's the point of this movie? What was I supposed to take from this?
Nothing necessarily fresh. It's an interesting, fresh way to tell the story.
Was
of the
it
Bible.
fresh? I thought it was pretty not fresh.
I thought it was unique.
No.
It's unique.
Yeah,
No.
Fresh
it's a
is-
unique movie.
yeah,
Haley.
yeah.
It's got a vision.
But did we need one?
We don't need any
don't need
movies, to
anything,
be
yeah.
fair. Yeah.
No. But you know what I mean.
This is not me defending the movie, but it's me defending the idea of the movie. Is that like you can
Right.
Make it
like
relatable.
the principle
then.
behind making this type
Make
of
it
movie.
relatable. Don't make it art. Don't make it like
Well,
nonsense
he's
two-dimensional art.
he's
There was
allowed to
nothing.
make it
no,
art.
there was nothing three-dimensional about this. It was just flat garbage.
Right, but does that mean that we shouldn't find fresh ways to tell even just like
If you're gonna find a way to retell a story that we all know by heart because it's the stupid Bible, do it in a way that actually like hits home.
Yeah, he didn't do it well, but
so yeah, there we go.
Well, yeah, but he did it in a way that we're talking about it right now.
I think there's a lot to dissect.
Because you guys told me to.
I think it has some merit. I think the last sequence where everything's going kind of crazy is very well choreographed.
It took us about 2 minutes to retell everything that happened in that last half hour.
Yeah, because a lot of quick stuff happens.
We're being economic.
It took too long.
I don't know. I think there's some positive things to take away. I don't think it's a great movie overall. I think as far as a romance plot line,
nothing.
Boo.
Yuck. Except for Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer still going strong.
Hot.
Daddy.
So should we get our ratings together?
No.
Yes, let's get our ratings together.
Wait, but what? No, but I'm serious though. Why are we rating this one? It doesn't even fall into any like.
We rate every movie.
Yeah, that's our thing.
Yeah, but we don't have a rating system for this one.
Yeah, we do. 1 to 5 fire diamonds, obviously.
It works out.
So we'll start off with chemistry. We're doing the chemistry between Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence.
Negative 3,000 diamonds.
So 0. I'm also going to go 0 because...
Zero.
And I know the point wasn't really to be truly romantic, but it should be believable, and this was not. They were nothing together. Hard pass on the romance. Right. Best friends...
That would be
Michelle
I think
Pfeiffer
and Ed Harris.
I'm gonna give it a 1 because they were decent to Javier Bardem and they were so shitty to
They're
Jennifer.
so mean to Jennifer Lawrence. 0.
All right.
0. Okay, so we get 2.
Horror.
Romance.
Oh, romance and then horror. Right.
0.
0.
You
know what?
Why?
Michelle Pfeiffer truly cared for Ed Harris.
Okay, so
I'm gonna put that out there. 1.5.
Ooh, that's high. All right,
it's not.
It's higher than any other score in this specific one. I'll do 1 because
0.
Yeah, there's different kinds of romance. I guess love for a child is not romance. Never mind. That's just love. That is love. Platonic. 1.
0.
And horror, which I'm going to say... spook factor.
Spook factor, yeah.
Spook factor.
I'm going to say 2.5. There's some disturbing stuff. Not spooky, but disturbing, and it falls into the horror zeitgeist for me.
I'm going to go with actually a pretty high score. I'm going to go with a 4.
What?
Because it's not necessarily a good film, but it makes me nervous. And this is a situation in which I would not like to find myself. Mm-hmm. And in that way, I suppose it does its job.
See, Haley, like, every morning she wakes up and goes, damn it, I didn't wake up in the big farmhouse. She just hopes that she'll wake up like that.
Where's that fire diamond?
Haley, what do you think for Spook Factor?
1.
Hey, we got something above the crusade.
Right.
All right, so we're just going to take 1 second to add up these scores. It's going to take a while, clearly. And let's see what we got.
Now, I'm just going to ramble alone to the computer right now because you guys are doing math. And math. Okay. What was the point? She was Earth. Okay, cool. So is the message that we keep destroying Earth? Is it supposed to be like a environmental moral? I don't understand. But that's stupid because why is God in there? And why is God a fucking asshole in this? But it's like they took Jesus and God and combined them because he's like, I want to be good to the people, which is like a Jesus thing. God is like a dick in the Bible. And then God was being like both Jesus and God in this. There was nothing that connected this. This was like when they do like Shakespeare abridged, but they did it for the Bible and they did it with unrelatable kind of current day characters, but not in a current day setting because they were in like period dress in colonial times. I hated this.
And we're back. So we've added everything up and this film gets 3.6 fire diamonds out of 20. Bam, 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 bam.
That's our lowest yet.
I think.
Is it?
Yes.
As far as
all movies, yes.
Hey, it's the Meet Spook. You never know what you're going to get. October's a crazy month.
Yeah, you could, it's like a trick-or-treat bag. You could get some good candy. You could get a walnut.
Yep. So let's do just final thoughts. Anything else you want to add, Haley?
Yes. If you would like to get a fun retelling of the Bible, especially this like era, Adam and Eve, blah, 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 the creation of life, just like go to your local library. And by local, I mean in New York, you can go to the archives and watch musicals. Go watch Children of Eden. It's more fun. There's a tap dancing snake. It's much better than this.
Nah, VeggieTales. You gotta watch VeggieTales.
No.
It's vegetables redoing the Bible.
My neighbors, when I was a kid, they brought me to a youth church event one night. Didn't know that's what it was going to be. I just thought we were going to hang out someplace. And they were showing, there was a time where they were like, all right, everyone, all the kids get in this room for the next half hour. We're going to watch VeggieTales.
Yeah, baby.
And I remember I was like, what's this vegetable cartoon? I didn't pick up any of the Christian themes. I was just like, what's that fucking tomato?
Yeah, Zach was just like a little Jew boy. He was like, what's happening here?
Yeah, I was a cucumber and tomato on a boat. What am I getting into? And
weird offshoot story about youth group. Once we watched, in youth group, we watched John Q., which is not a very...
Denzel Washington?
Yeah, that's not a very Christian movie. It's a good movie. But the whole time I was like, what? Anyway, that's all.
You want to hear a real line from John Q?
I would love to
reinforce that it's not really like for kids.
Right, yeah.
I will not bury my son.
That was good. I believed you.
That's a line from John Q.
So Children of Eden, the first act, covers all of this, and it's way more fun. The music's good. It could have had
I will
some
not
rewriting.
bury my son.
No.
It's an adaptation of John Q, right?
Snake.
No.
It's me, Javier Bardem.
No.
We'll cut that from there.
We'll cut most of this last part. Anyway.
Joke's on you. It's all staying.
So this was our first hot take. Oh, it's a hot take. Hot take.
Oh, it's so hot. Oh, give me that sound effect. No. Was that not it?
Wait, what button did you press, Haley?
The right one. That's how it sounded every other time.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
This is our first hot take. We're hopefully doing more when we return back to our normal romantic comedy format. So if you like the hot takes, reach out to us on socials at meetcutecast on Instagram and Twitter, or feel free to email us at themeetcutecast@gmail.com. If you didn't like the hot take, let us know as well. If there's any movies you want us to do, please reach out to us on socials. We'd love to hear from you. And
if you would like to save that sound effect, you can go to our website and just we'll have a file there. You can download the sound effect.
It'll be the only thing on the website. It is just a link that says download.
We're going to as of this recording, we don't have a website, so we're going to make a website.
Right. It's going to be a really tiny link in the center of the page that says, I don't know, sound
It'll
effect.
just be download. It's just be download with a download.
And if anyone wants
arrow.
to this is sincere. If anyone wants to remix it and send it back, we will play it on the show.
Oh,
yes,
please.
we will.
Yes.
For one last time, I'm going to press that button just so we can all hear that hear that hot take clip.
Oh, it's a hot take.
Oh, hot take.
Hot.
Oh, it's so hot. Hey, can we get a sound effect?
Oh, this has been fun, guys.
I think there's a button there that switches me and Edward's voices, right?
I think there is, yeah.
Wait, there's another one there that has Haley doing both parts. That's really weird. Can we press that one, Haley, real quick?
At the same time, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember making that. This is a really high-tech studio. Oh, it's a hot take. It's a hot take. Hot take. It's a hot take. Oh, can we get a sound effect?
Yeah. It's weird.
You conflated that with the Greek voice button from earlier.
All right. Well, this was bad. I don't recommend you watch this. Hopefully we saved you 2 hours. And Darren Origami. Darren.
We need it.
Yep. You got it.
I beg of
home
thee.
stretch.
Hold on. Darren Aronofsky. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Darren Aronofsky.
Spike Lee.
Wait, did he write this?
whole time.
Look it up real quick.
Yes.
He wrote it?
I'm sure he did.
He wrote
yeah.
and
This is what
directed,
happens
yeah.
when we let directors write things.
Whoa.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, bye.
Oh, I'm Zach.
I'm Edward.
I'm your mother.
We're all moms.
Bye.